Hey, it's Matt. Welcome to my YouTube channel. There are many like it, but this one's mine. I hear my train a-comin'. Little Johnny Cash in there. It's actually the first song that I ever learned on the guitar. In fact, I never made it all the way through. The guy that I used to work with overnights as a security guard, we used to smuggle an acoustic in, and he knew how to play some Johnny Cash and some other things, and that was the first one that he kind of taught me. I don't know how in tune this guitar is. My battery in the tuner is dead, so I have to find another one. Run to the store today. I gotta get dog food anyway, so this was mine. Anyhow, I just gotta give a shout out today. This is a shout out, my first shout out video to a person. My friend Tree in World of Warships. I don't know if you guys watched the clan versus clan video that I posted a few days back, and I sank Tree with an airstrike. He was on the other team. It just got me thinking today. I was like, this was not the first time I sank Tree. The first time I sank Tree, actually, he and I were on the same team. And Tree, I'm sure you're watching this, but I don't know if you remember the incident. But I don't remember what you were in, but I know what I was in. I was in my HSF Graf Spee, Tier 6 German Panzerschiff. Not quite a battleship, not quite a cruiser, not quite a battle cruiser. It's a weird hybrid. Was designed to combat light cruisers with bigger guns than they had and more armor, but it was designed to run away from ships that were bigger than it, but it could still punch them if it needed to. Anyway, HSF Graf Spee was a real boat. Sank in the Battle of River Plate down in South America, I think 1941, 42 maybe. But anyway, Tree and I were on the same team, and I was dumping some torpedoes, and I forgot that the torpedo angles on that boat are... the torpedoes literally sit on the ass end of the ship, and they've got firing arcs, so you can actually still kind of like shoot in front of yourself. So Tree was off on my port side. I think port is right. Starboard port. Yeah, I think port is right side. He was on my right side, and I was dumping my torpedoes, and I forgot that the firing angles were what they were, and the torpedoes shoot off the back of the boat when I thought they would be shooting off further up from the boat. And needless to say, my torpedoes ended up smashing right into Tree's boat and sank him. And this was back in the days when you could actually do team damage in World of Warships and sink your friends. And so yeah, first time I sank Tree, we were actually teammates on the same team, which was pretty funny. Anyway, Tree, thanks for watching. Appreciate the shout outs you give me in Discord when we're getting ready for clan battles. Well, I forgot today's t-shirt, the I'm Big in Europe shirt, because I'm still big in Europe. I did have something else I was going to talk about. I have to find it. I will be right back. Play the Jeopardy theme music now. Do 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 do. I don't know if YouTube punishes you for dead air. I remember back in radio, it was like, you're not allowed to have dead air. Anything silent, oh my God. It was like, blah. So anyway, today we are talking about... Ooh, that was interesting. A little light. And then there was light. This is the Leaves from the Inn of the Last Home, which is a Dragonlance book, source book for the world of Krynn, which was a fantasy world, Dungeons and Dragons fantasy world based on a series of books, the Dragonlance series. Now, I was never a big reader. I can read, and I'm very good at reading. I can blast through a book very, very quickly if I choose to. But I always have other things that, seem to do. It's not to say I haven't read and I hate reading, but, But anyway, I'm back in the day, and I'm talking in the day, this was high school days. My friends and I were all Dungeons and Dragons-y players, and we would actually get together with dice and miniatures and character sheets. And the Krynn world was one of the worlds that we played in. But Dragonlance was actually I think it was my favorite. It was kind of like my intro, actually, into Dungeons and Dragons. I actually read Dragonlance before I read Lord of the Rings. And it's kind of funny because my brother had read Lord of the Rings, and I had read Dragonlance, and he's like, "Oh, you got to read it, you got to read it, you got to read it." And having read both now, there's a pros and cons to each one, so you can kind of see where Dragonlance was a bit influenced by Lord of the Rings, in a lot of cases very influenced, but, it was kind of its own shtick, too. I enjoyed Dragonlance. I enjoyed the characters. I enjoyed the story. So this was one of the books that basically this is an actual book from, I'm trying to figure out the date of publishing on this thing. It's probably here in very small print. TSR Incorporated. So, what does that tell you? I mean, TSR is not even a thing anymore. It's owned by Wizards of the Coast, which is owned by Hasbro or somebody now. And I don't know where my glasses went. '84, '85, maybe. So this is a source book for the world of Krynn. It's called Leaves from the Inn of the Last Home. From my own personal collection. I am an avid, as you guys know from some of my videos, I'm an avid Dungeons and Dragons online player, and one of my characters is named Sturm, who is a knight from Dragonlance, Sturm. My character's named Stirm because Sturm was taken. Go figure. There are other people that have read Dragonlance too that beat me to the name. So, anyhow, the Dungeons and Dragons Online has not yet added anything from Krynn or from Dragonlance into their game. Everything right now is either Eberron, which is kind of like the steampunk world, or the Forgotten Realms, which is kind of like the more traditional campaigns that I think that we all kind of started off in. In fact, even the earliest computer Dungeons and Dragons games, which were made by SSI back in the day, Pool of Radiance and Curse of the Azure Bonds, were set in the Forgotten Realms. So, anyhow, that's a pretty cool book from my collection. I just want to hope you guys are having a good Sunday, and I will catch you next time. Cheers.